Treflyn, I'm in the kitchen. Today I'm going to make a curry. Now then, I've been making curries for years and years and years, but I've seen one or two posts out there and people have said I've never made a curry. And I'm always learning on how to make curries in so many different and so many better ways. So I'm just going to go through some very basic stuff here. I mean, I use onions, so there's the onions. I've got some spring onions here, but I'm just going to do something different with them. And today it's going to be a chicken curry. So I've already cut the chicken breast, which has been cut up into bite-sized pieces. So you could just stick your fork in it and stick it in your mouth. And that's what it's all about. Over here, I've got on the cooker here, I've got a little wok. I love this wok. It's from Asda, non-stick, very handy. But if you haven't got a wok, you could do something like this with a glass lid on it. So anyway, so that's what I'm going to be cooking them in. Now then, let's get back over to the ingredients. Simple way of doing it: get your onions in the frying pan with some ghee or with some coconut oil, or even with lard if you wanted to, but I'll probably be using coconut oil tonight. And just put curry powder in it. Job done, that's it. I always put salt and pepper in, so that when I'm frying the onions, I put the salt on the onions, and I'll be doing this later. I'm going to be using some garlic paste and some ginger paste. And here, amongst my spices, I've got some garlic. Now, instead of using standard curry powder, I've got a collection of spices. So this is just some of my collection here. We've got East End Madras curry powder mix, ground fennel seeds, which can give it a nice sweet taste. I've got some curry leaves here, which I'm going to be putting in. I've got 5 spice powder, which is more suited for Chinese, but again, you could use it in there. There's an ingredient called garam masala, which is a mixed spice, which you can also add. I'll be adding some of that in there. Obviously, the old chilies, I've got crushed chilies here. You can also put fresh chilies in if you want. What else have we got? Yeah, cumin seed, ground cumin seed, known as jeera. Then there's ground coriander over here. So these are your basic spices. I use black cardamom powder. The labels come off there, but that's black cardamom powder. You can use green cardamoms. These are like little seeds here. So these can give it a nice flavour. I just crush them, and inside there's some little black items. So I'm going to throw them in there for now because I can't be bothered putting them back in the packet. I can't even see what this is. That's korma masala. Masala is like a ground, it's just like a mixed spice, a mixed mixture of spices. That's for korma. Then here I have got some turmeric. Now, but I always keep the turmeric double packed, because if it gets loose, if it gets out, it goes all over the place. So you've got to be very careful with this. You don't want to get this on your clothes, not on your white clothes, because it stains. And it's great for dyeing things yellow, and it's very good for you. So I'll be putting the turmeric into my curry. So I love using these spices. And so what have we got here? Ground coriander, got some to use up. Got some more black cumin powder. I've got chili powder here. I've got cinnamon sticks. I love cinnamon sticks. I'll be putting a big stick of cinnamon in there. But if you put the cinnamon sticks in, don't chop it up, because otherwise everybody gets a piece of it and it's not nice. So you're far better off taking out a stick. Yeah, there's a stick there, so I'll put that in there. I'll be mixing that in. And then you can use some whole coriander seeds. And here is my garlic powder. So I'll be using garlic powder tonight because I haven't got any garlic paste. So anyway, so there you go. That's just a basic insight into making a curry. So we'll be cooking it later on. If I get a minute, I'll come back and I'll show you as it's going through the system. But there you go, that's a basic insight, basic introduction. We've got lots and lots of members out there who I'm sure can come along and give you some great advice on how to make a curry. I've got another ingredient in here which is called fenugreek leaves. And if I can find it, yeah, here we go, I love these. I'll be adding this in tonight. Methy leaves, there you go, fenugreek leaves. That gives it a very delicate flavour. I like to add this to a separate dish So tonight I'm going to have a side dish, which is going to be bean sprouts, which is not truly Asian, but it doesn't matter. I'm going to put these green onions in there, these spring onions. I'm going to put these cardamoms in there, and I'll be putting lashings of this, and that will give it a new, different flavour. So I'll have that as a side dish tonight. So there you go. You know, great learning how to cook a curry. Lots of recipes out there on YouTube. Ask your Asian friends. Even ask the guy at your local takeaway. I'm sure he'll help you. Hi, it's Treflyn, and I'm back in the kitchen. Right, it's time to start cooking. So I like to get the pan hot. And today I'm cooking with coconut oil. Okay, I can normally use ghee as well, so I'm putting this into a hot pan because I like to get things moving. Then I'm going to put these onions, which I prepared earlier. But like I say, today we're using coconut oil. I can, if I want to use ghee, which is very, very nice, it's very good. But today we're using coconut oil. So this is just a very, very quick run through. So I get my oil going, and then I just pile in the onions. So some people would put other spices in. I'm going to put that in there for now. And I've got these cardamom seeds here. So I'm going to throw these in, and that will spice the oil up a bit. I'm not going to put too many of these in. Then I've got some cloves that I'm going to use. So I'm just going to get the cloves. I forgot to get the cloves.
Meanwhile, at the pan.
Right, these are the cloves. So I'm going to put in maybe 3 or 4 of these in here. I'll keep that gas back up again. Right. This will just get my oil going a bit. And then I'm going to add in, you have to pop in. I mean, you can put other spices in. I'll just push these down, just crack them a bit. You could put in fresh garlic. I'm not using fresh garlic today. I'm using garlic powder. So I've got them in there. In go the onions. So I'll give them a good stir. Keep them going. So that's the basics. That's the basic start. Now I am going to be adding spice powders to this, but I'm going to get the onions going. I'm going to put some salt on the onions. So I think it's important to put plenty of salt on these little guys in here. Get rid of that moisture. Now, whilst onions are a root vegetable, and yeah, they do have carbohydrates in them, and I'm not trying to hide from that, you know, I don't worry too much about it because I've already lost my weight. But it is relatively low carbohydrate, because by the time all the water's gone and it's mixed up with something else, I won't be eating all of these onions in one go. So there you are. So I'll just give these a good mix, get them going, and then we'll come back later. Right, okay, so these onions have been in for a few minutes. If you come and have a look at these onions over here. And now I'm going to add some, I found some garlic paste, so I've decided to put this in. So I'll put 2 big, generous dessert spoonfuls of that. Then I've got my garlic, my ginger, 2 big dollops of this fellow going in here. So there we are, that's going in with the onions. I'll just turn the onions down a bit. Now I'm going to add my spices. I'm using my powder, so here we've got ground coriander. So I'm going to put 2 teaspoonfuls in here. There's 1. To heat that, but there you go. This is not rocket science, there's 2 of them. Then I'm going over here now to my cumin seeds. There's my ground cumin. So I'm putting that in so I can get into these packets, which are a bit of a nuisance because if you open them too wide they fall out. Yeah. So I'll put a couple of spoonfuls of this in there as well. Now I just love black cardamom powder. I haven't got a lot left, probably just a drizzle in here. So I'm going to put this in there. This is black cardamom powder. So I mix it all together. I'll just put the remains of this black cardamom powder in here. Okay, that's 1 packet out the way. Then I've got ground fennel seeds. This gives it a sort of a sweetish taste. I'm not sure if I'm going to use tablespoons, teaspoons on this, because I know what it looks like when it goes in. Yeah, that's a couple of teaspoons there. So that's basically it now. So I'm going to give that a stir. So that's my mix. That's my base done. And the other thing, sorry, I forgot, is to put in this character here, which is turmeric. This is the one that makes a mess if you spill it. So don't let me spill this, please. And this gives it a beautiful yellow colour. So yeah, so that's a generous teaspoon, just a little bit more. There you go. All good stuff. Right, so there you are. Those are my basic starter spices. So I've got that there. It's a bit sticky at the moment, but that's okay. I could add a little bit of water to this if I wanted to. But I'm going to add the chicken now. So I'm just going to add the chicken, because that's got moisture in it as well. So that will help. And then I'm going to cook it, and I'm going to put the lid on. So I'll just give it a mix. And I've turned the gas off at the moment. So I've given it a mix. And I'll just boil the kettle, and I'll just put the gas on a low light to get this all nicely going, all covered over in this beautiful curry sauce or curry mixture. Now the one thing I haven't put in here yet is the chilli, but I will be putting that in later. So there you go. So that's basically it. I've got the gas on underneath. The kettle's just boiled, so I'm going to put a splash of water in here. Give that a stir, and then I'll put the lid on it and let it cook, because I don't want this water to evaporate. And there will be some liquid will come out of the chicken, so it will become nice and have a nice gravy to it, right? So that's it at this stage. Waste not, want not. And I'll put the lid on, and then we'll come back later. Okay, so there we are. That's the beginnings of it anyway. So come back later, and then I'll show you what we're going to be doing. Thanks a lot. Take care. Bye. Hi, it's Treflyn. Right, come back over and have a look here. This is been on now for about 5 or 6 minutes. I did put a little bit more water into it, but we've got a nice thick creamy sauce there. Now the two things I'm going to do now, I'm going to add some tomato puree. So you could add fresh tomatoes, you could add some tomatoes out of a tin. So that's I suppose the equivalent of a dessert spoonful, if you want to be that pedantic about it. So there's my tomato puree going in. I have in the past added fresh tomatoes, and I've added, as I say, tin tomatoes. If you're not careful with this quantity, you could put a whole tin of tomatoes in, but it would all be very tomatoey in flavour. So I'm just mixing that in. But the other thing I've got, which is important in the curry, is to have the chilies. Now tonight, in here I'm adding some, I've got one solitary fresh green chilli left, which I've chopped up. Not bothered about the seeds, it's all going in there. Anne doesn't like it too hot, and I respect that. In this fella over here, in this wok, I'm going to be making a separate side dish for me, and if you come back later, I'll show you how we do it. Okay, now I've got the small wok on, just melted the oil, and as I showed you earlier, I'm going to put in here these spring onions and these whole cardamoms. So I'm going to give that a go in. The oil's nice and hot, so these cardamom seeds are popping and they're opening up. What I'm going to do in here is I'm going to be adding some bean sprouts with the methi leaves, with the fenugreek leaves, and that will give it a unique flavour. And I'm going to be putting more chilies in this, so that if that curry isn't hot enough for me, because I do like it hotter than Anne likes it, then that will satisfy me. So I'm just going to get these going, and then we'll see how we get on. Right, I'm adding the curry leaves into here, and I'm also going to be adding some spinach leaves in here. So there you go, there's a generous helping of spinach leaves in there, and I'm also going to add them into this wok here as well. So I'm putting spinach leaves in here, because all this greenery is good for us. Nutrient dense vegetation. Okay, so that will wilt down in here. I'll just give it a stir. I'll just give this a stir, just to get it under the moisture. So that will wilt down. That's that spoon for that one. And I've got this spoon over here for this one. And I'm going to add my bean sprouts in here now. Now I've got a massive dollop of bean sprouts to go in here. There's 200 grams of bean sprouts, but this is not, I'm not going to eat all this tonight, so, you know, don't be over concerned about the number of carbohydrates. This will last us now for a couple of days, and there's Anne and myself, so if we divide that by 4, it's not as nightmarish as it sounds. And then obviously best to cook it. We don't have to cook the bean sprouts all that long, because what we don't want them to do is to overcook. But what I'm going to do, I'm going to put a separate lid on here to stop the moisture coming out. And I use one of these galvanised tin plates, which has stood as well. So I'll just push that down there like that, turn the heat down a little bit, because I don't want to burn it. And that's it. So that's just another phase. We'll catch up later. Hi, I've just added a spoonful of ginger into here. Now I'm going to sprinkle on top my chili flakes, because I do like 1 or 2 chilies around. And I'm also going to put in here, but not yet, I'm going to put these, oh go on, might as well put them in now. Why not? Why wait? So you can see the bean sprouts have started to wilt. All the that green vegetation, what was that called then? Old timers.
Spinach.
All the spinach, yeah, that's all wilted down. So I'm quite liberal with this. It's got a beautiful smell to it, but it's a delicate flavour. So I added that to that, and I'll just give this a stir, because I don't want to overcook these bean sprouts. And this will go on the side of my plate as a side dish. Now, I'm not saying that this is Asian cuisine. It's a combination of Chinese, Asian and Treflyn Jones. So I just put together what I like. And it doesn't have to be from a recipe book or Diet Doctor or anywhere like that. It's what I know that I like, and that's what I eat. I eat the food I like, and I like the food that I eat. So there we are, that's all tidy there. Just keep the heat on low, and I'll put my own makeshift lid on there, because that keeps the juices in and makes a nice moist sauce for it to sit on. Look at that now. That's stopped cooking now. All the spinach is wilted down in there, and we'll be serving this up and putting it on our plates and eating it. Yes. I just hope that you enjoy these small videos that we put together for you. If you do, then don't forget to join us on the Warrington Low Carbohydrate group on YouTube. Just ding the bell, just subscribe. And also, if you want to find out more about how we're fighting the war against losing weight and type 2 diabetes and other health issues, join us. Join us on the Keep Fat Club. So thanks a lot again for watching this video. Stay safe. Bye now.